Hey there, Agile Adventurer. Just a quick question. What if, for the price of a fancy coffee or half a pizza, you could unlock over 700 hours of the best Agile content on the planet? That's audio, video, e-courses, books, presentations, all that you can think of. But you can also join live calls with world-class practitioners and hang out in a flame war-free and AI slop-clean Slack with the sharpest minds in the game. Oh, and yes, you get direct access to me, Vasco, your Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. No, this is not a drill. It's the Scrum Master Toolbox membership. And it's your unfair advantage in the Agile world. So if you want to know more, go check out scrummastertoolbox.org/membership. That's scrummastertoolbox.org/membership. And check out all the goodies we have for you. Do it now. But if you're not doing it now, let's listen to the podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Team Tuesday. This week we have with us Florian Georgescu. Hey, Florian, welcome back.
Hey, Vasco.
So, Florian, Tuesday is, of course, Team Tuesday here on the podcast. But before we dive into the team story, share with us, what's the book that most inspired you in your career as a Scrum Master?
There were a lot of books, but I think the one that I liked most was The Responsibility Process from Christopher Avery. I found it very interesting about all these stages that we go through when we are facing problems. I also did, right? Especially when we talked about that team, right, and about the frustration when with the burnout, and it was very easy to me to go into the blaming phase and justification. But I believe every Scrum Master should read this book because it allows them to support their teams not only in conflict management discussions, so to navigate in conflicts, but also to support teams in taking responsibility for the things that they can influence. I think this is very, very important. So
when you think about the responsibility process, and we talked about that, you already talked about how that would have applied perhaps even productively if you had that knowledge and experience in the Monday story, right? But
yes.
But we also are helping teams all the time with that process. What is one tip you took from the book when it comes to helping teams understand how they can benefit from this? Let's call it, it's responsibility process, right? Like accepting responsibility for the right things, not everything, right? Like, what's the one tip you have to share with us about that?
They should understand what are the things that they can influence whenever they want to take responsibility. It is important to understand what they can influence, what they can change, and where this responsibility ends. And then by understanding also the model to use reflections and be honest, have honest conversations, especially in retrospectives, and have an honest discussion about what happened and what can they do in the future to improve the situation.
Very good. So the book is The Responsibility Process by Christopher Avery. The link is in the show notes, everybody. Check it out. We also have a podcast episode with Christopher here on the podcast, so check that out as well. And of course, because today is Tuesday, Florian, we dive into the team story. So tell us a story of a team. Give us a little bit of, is this a small team, big team, small company, big company, whatever that is, but help us understand the context of the team and then walk us through the steps, how those small little behaviors by certain or even all of the team members started small, but eventually grew and became a big problem for the team.
Yeah, it was we were working with an US client in the mortgage industry, and the goal for the team. So it was a team of around 8 people, and the goal of the team was to create a payment system for that client, and there were various skills in the team, around 80 developers. One of them was the technical lead, the senior one, and he was also experienced not only in the technologies he was using, but also with the customer. So he knew the client. He worked also for other projects with that client, and what happened was that everything moved, or everything happened around that person.
So kind of like all of the communication, all of the decisions, all of the planning,
Exactly.
that person always had to be involved, right?
Exactly, and also the knowledge, and it was not because he took that knowledge only for himself, only because it was not something malicious, but it was maybe a job security, and also a little bit of pride. But what happened basically was, for example, in sprint plannings, he was the one that was providing the final estimates, or he was the one that kind of had the last say when it comes to the technical solution that we wanted to implement. There were also when, for example, when other developers, I've realized it, when other developers tried to voice their opinion, he cut the discussions short. And what was interesting is that what made this issue even stronger was its spiral effect, in the sense that the other developers also started to build the knowledge silos around themselves. Discussions.
They kind of started to copy the behavior of this lead.
Exactly. So they started to mirror this behavior and build those knowledge silos. Also during dailies, questions started to not come up so often anymore, because everybody was scared of not appearing incompetent. Sprint planning was mainly done in a short period of time with the input of the of that tech lead, and it was a very bad atmosphere in the team.
That I can totally understand, because the moment you start separating, right, like it becomes a group of independent individuals that are loosely coupled through the, of course, technical dependencies they have on each other. There's very little human interaction or even motivation to collaborate, right? Like I can imagine that decision making was very easy when it affected only one developer, but if it affected multiple developers, it was probably slow and cumbersome to make any decisions, because everybody was looking at it just from their personal perspective, right?
Exactly. But the interesting thing was that if you looked at the data, the team was doing well. Yeah, because again, we had that technical lead who was knowledgeable, who knew the product, who knew the client. He was also very dedicated to the project. So if you looked at the number and such, things were going well. Yeah, not bad. Until that developer had to leave for vacation.
What happened when that developer left?
Things got blurry. Things got blurry.
Give me an example. What started happening?
We had planning meetings, and team didn't know how to react, what to do, how to estimate. They were nervous about. I remember we had a discussion on the technical solution. And they were saying, you know what, Alex was the one dealing with architecture and the design. We don't have this knowledge. And I remember very well how this information was provided to me. It was a smile, but with a frustration. It was a mix between smiling and frustration. So it's Alex. We don't have this know-how.
What happened to the team? Like, I can imagine that maybe they started delivering late. Maybe there were some quality problems. What happened?
We were delayed. So we were delayed with the delivery. 2 juniors left the team because the main reason was that they didn't like, on one side, the atmosphere, but on the other side, there was no learning involved, as this tech lead did everything by himself. I remember even the code reviews, it was done something super fast. And obviously for those colleagues that wanted to learn, it was very difficult to handle this situation because there was no learning. In the best case scenario, they received some information on what to do and how to do, and that's it. Yeah.
This reminds me that sometimes, even when things seem to be going well, and there's that one person that knows all the answers, this is when teams are starting to crumble. And I think this story is a great illustration of that, and how important it is to make sure that the whole team is contributing at all times. Now, it may not start there, but as Scrum Masters, as leaders, as Agile coaches, we need to be attentive to that and really help teams to take collective ownership of the delivery, not just one person. That's been a great story and a great reminder of that, Florian. Thank you very much for sharing that.
Happy to do so.
All right, I hope you liked this episode. But before you hit next episode, here's the deal. This podcast is powered by people like you, the members who wanted more than just inspiration. They wanted real tools and real connection to people who are practicing Agile every day. We're talking access to over 700 hours of Agile Gold, CTO level strategy talks, summit keynotes, live workshops, e-courses, deep dive interviews, books, and if you're into no estimates, we got the pioneers of no estimates in those deep dive interviews as well. Agile business intelligence, creating product visions, coaching your product owner courses, you name it. You'll get invites to monthly live Q&As with Agile pioneers and practitioners, plus a private Slack community, which is free of all of that AI slop you see everywhere, and of course, without the flame wars. It's a community of practitioners that want to learn and thrive together. It's the best place to connect with community and learn together. So if this podcast has helped you before, imagine what you will get from this podcast membership. So head on over to scrummastertoolbox.org/membership and join the community that's shaping the future of Agile. And we have so much for you. So check out all the details at scrummastertoolbox.org/membership, because listening is great, it's important, but doing it together, that's next level. I'll see you in the community Slack. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.